As I'm sure it is with most people, my relationship with my phone is complicated. On the one hand, it keeps me connected, and I find that the internet can be a really funny, whimsical place. On the other hand, the addictive scrolling and comparison loops can make my brain and soul feel like absolute mush. I used to hate being on my phone and was off social media for about a year, but realized that it was quite unsustainable to be completely off it. So I've come to accept that it's really just a part of living this modern, hectic life. So here are some ways that I reclaim my phone as a tool and manage my brain rot rather than letting it control me. I like to start my morning super slow, so the night before I'll put my phone on airplane mode before going to bed, and I won't take it off until after my morning meditation or my morning beverage. The way that I invite presence into my mornings is how it shows up in the rest of my day. If I need to concentrate during the day, I'll put my phone into another room, preferably on the other side of the apartment, and this trick is stupidly simple, but it really works. My laziness to get up to find my phone outweighs that itch to scroll. So my main culprit of social media addiction is Instagram, and one of the ways that I try and curb this Instagram addiction is by using alternative apps, and I like to call them nicotine patch apps because every time I get an urge to go on Instagram, I can use one of these apps instead, and it gives me that hit of social media that I need, but they don't feel as fast-paced. The first app or website that I love is Arena. I'm pretty obsessed with Arena, and when I first found out about it, I was on here so much. If you haven't heard of Arena before, it's kind of like Pinterest, except there's no algorithms. You can let yourself follow threads of interest and see where it leads you. It reminds me of like really early Tumblr days. There is a bit of a learning curve to it, but I feel like once you get the hang of it, then it's really fun to use. It is also paid, but I think that it's so worth it, and this isn't like a paid sponsorship or anything. I just really love Arena. You can create little channels which are sort of like folders. You can bring images and words into it, and this is where I get a lot of my memes from as well. The other app that I've been loving is Substack. I've been trying to finish pieces, which is really hard for me because it takes so much brain power and commitment. It's made me aware of how quickly I shift from task to task. Like if I'm writing a piece for Substack and I start to lose the juice to continue writing it, then it's very easy for me to switch tasks or to start another Substack post when I should just, finish what I've already got on there. And I've really been loving Substack because I can write whatever I want without feeling that pressure of having an audience there. And so they're the two apps that I've been using in place of Instagram. In saying that though, I think with these apps, it can still be quite easy to fall into that habit of just mindlessly scrolling. Like I know for me, sometimes I can just mindlessly scroll through Substack and read about 20 articles and just not retain much. I just got distracted by this meme that's pretty good. Even though I use these apps in lieu of faster apps like Instagram, I still have to be quite mindful when I am using it just to make sure I'm not going overboard with the scrolling. With the way that I use the internet or the way that I participate online on the internet, I'm really craving a much slower space. As much as I love Instagram, I'm getting sick of just the fast pace of it all, just the constant comparison loops, the constant habitual scrolling, and I want to exist online in a way that feels super intentional, where I can actually retain what it is that I'm consuming and not be so mindless about it, because my brain is just absolutely turning into mush to the point where I can't even remember what I did yesterday without pausing to think about it for a solid minute. And I don't think that's an age thing. I do think that that's because my attention has been so hijacked. And that goes into how I want to be creating online as well. I want to be creating from a space that feels intentional and a space that feels really real. And I've been having a think about just where I want to be taking my videos or in what direction. And for me, there was this pressure of needing to upload constantly, especially after getting monetized. There was a pressure for me to have a fortnightly upload schedule. It felt like I was trying to churn out content or videos for the sake of content, and they didn't really feel real and true to me anymore. I've made videos, but I just didn't post them because I didn't feel like they resonated with what I wanted to be doing. And instead, it just felt like me trying to pump things out for the sake of getting views or making sure that I'm still monetized. And that's just not how I want to be approaching my existence online. So yeah, I guess this is to say that if you're new to the channel, if you've been here for a while, don't be expecting consistent uploads from me. The way that I'm creating videos is going to be extremely human. I think sometimes I'll go through those periods of consistency, sometimes there'll be lulls. At the end of the day, what I want to be creating, I want it to come from a place of truth, and that takes time to exist through life and to be able to form opinions and then to congregate it into a video. So yeah, I want to exist online in a way that just feels very soft and safe and anti-capitalist and anti-Instagram. At night, I'm normally off my phone and try to do an activity that's slow and soothing for my nervous system. I love yin yoga, and it's such a great way to balance out all of the yang energy that's floating around. So I'll normally put on a video and just let myself fully sink into my body and my mat. I learnt about this neat trick where you can place a red light filter on your screen by triple clicking the sidebar. And then I'll put my phone on airplane mode around 10 p.m. on a good day and then head off to bed. So last night I was scrolling on Instagram for way too long, and I just started falling down really hard into that comparison trap, and my insecurities really started flaring up. I was stalking this one person, and all of these thoughts were coming up about like, why am I not as successful as she is, or why am I not as like hot as she is? And all of these stories, these narratives were just kind of churning. And that's when I know that I really need to be off my phone. Social media is one of our biggest mirrors, and it reflects back to us all of those places where we still get caught up in the trappings of the mind. It really brought up that insecurity and made me face it head on. When we're on social media and these feelings do come up, I feel like there's one of two ways to kind of approach it. The first is to get caught in those stories of the mind, the constant narratives that we play out in our heads. And then the second, which is where I think mindfulness and just meditation and like having a practice really comes in handy, is to notice when those thoughts are coming up and then to get curious about the part of you that's coming up. So for example, like with my insecurity, I got curious being like, oh, okay, you're still here. Like I've been working on you for a little while and, I thought we were all good, but you're back again. And rather than getting kind of shameful or angry that I'm feeling insecure again, or I'm getting triggered by what I'm seeing online, I see it as an opportunity as to how can I show myself more love, because these insecurities are coming from a place of like low self-worth. So I really see it as an opportunity of how can I show up for myself better? How can I show myself more love, more care? And that self-care, it looked like letting myself cry it out until I felt like there weren't any tears left. And then today I made myself a chai in the morning and I made sure that I was not on my phone for the entire day. As much as being on social media can be a huge trigger, I also think that it is a huge mirror and it will reflect back to us all of those parts that still need that extra attention and that extra care. How can I use this as an opportunity to expand more into love, to know that I can hold myself through all of these really difficult emotions? Yeah, I think Instagram is literally like my biggest spiritual teacher, honestly. Yeah, I hope you found these tips on how to manage the brain rot useful. I hope you try some of them out if they resonated with you, or if there's any that I didn't include and you're implementing yourself, please put it in the comments. Would love to know. Thanks so much for sticking around, and I will see you next time.